And I think just before we start the meeting, I know that we've got council on Monday where we'll do the official violence and stuff and about going. Just to put on record, the cabinet that I thank Jerry and the condolences to all his friends and family, obviously, and we'll do a bigger on Monday. Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you. Are there any apologies for absence?
None received, Chair, from members.
Any declarations of interest?
Again, none received, Chair.
Thank you. The minutes of the last meeting. Will.
Chair.
You are happy with them?
Yeah.
Item 4, Stonebroom regeneration update, which is in my name, but I want to let Jane present that.
Thank you. So you'll be aware that at the last meeting before that, we talked about Stonebroom City update, and we talked about the potential for the community centre and agreed that we would go away and do some workings up on all of that. So we would have done that working up. They've done the feasibility. They've also done quite a lot of community consultation because, of course, it involves the neighbourhoods and it involves the food pantry people who are using one of the empty homes on the estate as well. So we've done a lot of consultation. We've done a lot of consultation around the flats, which is potential new location for the community centre. All been really positive, all been received well. We've also done the feasibility around using that space and is that the most effective use of the site, and that's come back positive as well. So we can get the seven bungalows on that site and then relocate the community centre to the front of the site effectively, which is a much better location for it. So all told, that details in the report. So the decision for tonight is to decide whether you want to proceed on that basis, and if you do, it will be a recommendation to council on Monday to approve the funds and include it in the capital programme. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Jane. Any questions to Jane before I move the recommendations?
Take it, we can afford it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's been modelled through the HRA business plan.
It does make the scheme a lot better with moving that community centre, doesn't it? Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because it were always in a funny place, no car parking and stuff.
The difficulty that we've got with it is we couldn't do anything with it because if we started to do anything with it, we'd fall foul of building regs because it's such an old building. It's got no vehicular access, there's no disabled access. It would have immediately created us problems. So we'd have literally got to leave it in situ. It's still a small footprint on a fairly big plot.
Yeah.
But we'd either got to leave it in situ or basically start again. So that was the basis of the feasibility.
That's right. I can remember one night spending quarter an hour trying to find the flipping thing.
Yeah,
I didn't.
It's
I went off.
between two houses, so you literally went down a general, a little jitty.
I went round them shops 6 times.
There's a gate at the end. And you wouldn't know it was, unless you knew where you were going, you wouldn't know where it was. Really difficult to find.
So can I move the recommendations then in 1, 2 and 3? Do I need to read those out? Alan, at all?
No, I think members have had an opportunity to have read them. Leave it.
I think that, Chair.
So are we all in favour of those recommendations and then they'll go to council on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, all in favour?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. That's that one. Here's it's item 5 is the pre-application planning advisory service. Steve.
Thank you, Chair. This is a paper to introduce a chargeable pre-application advice service. There's previously been, or currently, there's no charge at all. But there is a cost to that, which is several tens of thousands of pounds. That's currently funded out of the general fund, Chair. And this paper proposes to move that to the developers. You've got in your appendices a scale of charges. It ranges from free to inquiring whether a planning permission would be needed to about £60 for a householder wanting a garage or an extension or something like that, up to just under £4,000 for significant residential industrial developments. So I mean, this would obviously then remove a bit of a financial burden from the council, move that onto the developer. It'll bring us in line with the vast majority of other local authorities up and down the country, Chair, who've already got this. So most developers won't see this as something new. They'll have experienced it before. Before I move the recommendation, Chair, I'll invite David if he wants to make any comments or any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor. I mean, just really to reiterate, Chair, what Councillor Pickering's already said in terms of this being a fairly common practice. There is some variation even within the East Midlands Combined Authority region in terms of how pre-app is charged for what is offered. But basically, this is a culmination of a sort of 8-9 month exercise by officers. I'm not going to go through the detail in the report, but I set it out there for members to see, you know, what we've benchmarked, which is quite a lot. We've done some time recording, so we're confident that the charging is realistic, as Councillor Pickering has said. We're charging quite a low amount really for householders. That's obviously a deliberate recommendation on the basis that we don't want to put people off using the service. And then likewise, we've been very clear about what's offered at the other end of the scale for large scale major applications. In terms of, there was just one thing to add to the report, that in terms of the exemptions, there would also be an exemption for the public sector organisations. So in the report, we've listed the scenarios where somebody wouldn't be charged a fee, and that should also include other public sector organisations and anything that the council is pursuing itself, obviously. So that would be an amendment before the information goes on the website. But apart from that, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I think you've got the information.
Any question for David or Pete? No, I think it's like I say, a good piece of work, and I think if it, well, two things, it brings us in some money, but it makes it more these applications will look to done. If you get the advice first rather than.
I think the direction of travel we've got to see obviously with the new government, but you know, the pressure will be probably to speed up the process, and the more that we can offer in terms of a pre-application service, front load things and rely on the fact that we do that when then determining applications, we can speed that process up.
Yeah, brilliant. You want to move?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I mean, hopefully it'll make the process clearer for developers.
Yeah.
So they'll know what kind of arrangements there are. And it'll also give a good structure for our planning officers to work within for that, Chair. So with that, I'll move the recommendation to approve the implementation of a chargeable pre-application advice service in accordance with the charging schedule that's attached at Appendix 1 and the draft service standards at Appendix 2.
Sure, I'll take that. That's, are we all in favour? Yeah, thank you. Lee, well done. Item 6, productivity plan. Joe.
Thanks, Chair. You all have seen that a productivity plan has been a requirement of the outgoing government, identifying several areas that they want the council to report its activities and its progress on. And whilst it is a requirement from the government, it's also a very opportune time for the district council itself, which is working that way anyway, to highlight what's been going off and where it's leading itself. The questions from the government were, how have you transformed the way you design and deliver services to improve resources, how to plan the use of new technology, how to reduce waste, and the fourth one, doing fingers a minute. Any barriers that are going to be likely to cause problems. Within each of those, there's about half a dozen questions detailing a bit more about what's going off there. And Matt and his team have made this productivity plan, come up with this productivity plan, quite comprehensive. We've had a couple of reads through it, quite interesting read actually. It was pictures are nice anyway.
Thank you.
And I think very much will obviously answer the questions that the government's been towards. And I said it's not an insignificant number of questions there, about half a dozen, maybe more for each of those 4 areas. But it's highlighting as well what we have done, what we intend to do, looking at enhancing services, the strategic moves that we made, any preventative measures, and I like some highlighted here, grow your own staff development approach for implementing improvements to the staff abilities and what have you. Future vision is a very important area. Putting £30 million investment into leisure centres has been highlighted there. I don't think all of the areas that the district council have actually covered on have been put in here. There are a lot there, but you know there are a lot more. Whether Matt's got ideas for a more deeper, detailed report, I'm not sure, but it's very good. Improving the use of data, which, as you know, is something that's close to my heart. New technology and that sort of malarkey. But also highlighting as the government requested what difficulty there might be, what barriers there might be. I think that's been pulled out very well as well. Challenging opportunities we've turned it again. So all in all, I think it's a very good report. I think it does exactly what we need, regardless of what the government needs. Yeah, I'll leave it to that, Chair. I don't know whether I want to say anything or any questions or whatever.
Yeah, Mike, yeah.
In terms of the details, you're absolutely right. There is a document behind that, which is probably 20 pages long. So how that's come about was, as you suggested, in each one of the questions is 5 or 6 different questions. So it was started out by responding to each one of those, answering those honestly for us as an organisation, and then that document is a summary of those 20 pages, because we didn't want a 20-page document list for too overwhelming for public to consider. So there is a broad document. If Cabinet are interested, we can share that with Cabinet members. It's not as glossy as that. It hasn't got any nice pictures in it, but nonetheless happy to share it.
Thanks, Matt. I mean, I think it's an excellent document. I mean, like you say, it might have come from the Conservative government, but we were doing all this stuff anyway, I think, and it just puts it in a place. I'm just looking at that it does link into the on it again. Like it says, we're well placed to respond to the challenges facing local authorities, and we've got a good track record in delivering improvements. So I think, and it does link into the other strategic documents that we've had. So I think it's a good piece of work and something we can look back on. Thank you.
Can I move the recommendations then, please, Chair, that we agree the productivity plan as highlighted here, and agree to publish to both the government department and on the council's website.
Thank you. I'll second that. We all in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well done, everybody. Item 7, Treasury Management Financial Upturn. Upturn, boy. 23-24. There you go.
I'm presenting the outturn report for 23-24. We have published this year's accounts on the 29th of May. At this date, only 40% of local authorities have filed their accounts. Our external auditors are not able to audit the accounts until September. The audit committee have seen the draft at their meeting last week. I won't go through the report in detail, but just take a minute to highlight the key points. The general fund shows an underspend of 525,000 at the 31st of March. Table 1 shows the main variances, and further details can be found on this report at 2.6. You'll see the things on 2.6 are pay costs, premises related costs, vehicle and service supply costs, vehicle related costs, depreciation and impairment, and income. And you'll see where the largest variances have come from. 128k on the pay costs, a little bit over on the premises, vehicle related costs 103,000, supplies and services 200, department and impairment 10,000 and the income mainly from different grants and also planning has given us a surplus. The reserves are detailed in tables 2 and 3, and the main point to note is that the transfer to general fund from the resilience reserve of 331,000 is no longer required, and in fact a contribution of 244,000 is being made into the reserves, which will be utilised to provide financial resilience to the general fund in future years as required by the medium-term financial plan. There are very few variances of note in the HRA, and the appendices 3 has full details. The HRA general balance is being maintained at 3 million. In the capital, there has been quite a lot of slippage on both programmes this year. Further details can be found at 2.21 and 2.22. As in previous years, approval is sought to roll these budgets over. I'm happy to take any questions, but I would move the recommendations that Cabinet notes the outturned position in respect of 23-24 financial year, and the Cabinet approves the proposal to carry forward of capital budgets as detailed in Appendix 4, totaling £17.193 billion, Chair.
Might have been the financial outcome, but all right, we can do that.
Well, I got a copy and didn't know which was 7 and which was 8, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't raise it on the.
No, we've just flipped them around. Any questions on the financial outturn then? For the medium-term financial plan that Pat's just presented?
No.
No, anything, Dave?
Councillor Kerry explained that all very well, and just to say it was a mixed bag this year in terms of the variances that table 1 demonstrates, which is unusual because it's normally all pay, but pleasingly to know that we've got pay under a little bit better control this year. It's good to note.
So perhaps move them recommendations. I'll second those. Are we all just note those? Are you happy? Yeah. Thank you. So we'll go on to the treasury management.
I've got the Treasury Management financial outturn.
Yeah.
This Treasury Management letter sooner. It's not really a financial outturn as such. As Cabinet will be aware, CIPFA revised Treasury Management Code is made quarterly, reporting mandatory from the 12th from April 2023. This report presents Treasury Management outturn 23-24. Appendix 1 and 2 provides the report on which the Treasury Management activity and prudential indicators of the Council for 23-24. The key points are summarised in 2-3 in the report, and you will note that there are no compliance matters or risks raised this year. It's really the overall borrowing requirements, public works loan board debt, effective internal borrowing, new public loan work borrowing, repaid PWLB, interest paid and interest received. And it really tells us the rules that we abide by during the year, the parameters that we must agree to and keep within, and where monies are deposited and what interest we get, etc. It's where we take advice and how we use the advice, and nobody's raised any adverse comments on that. And all the figures that it used to come as an annual one, it has to come now quarterly, and it's the same report virtually each time, just updating where if we've lent or borrowed any further monies. Chair, I will move the recommendations the cabinet note the outturn position in respect of the 23-24 financial year.
Thank you, Pat. As Jane knows, I always love the treasury management report. You want to say any more?
One line you need to, and then one line that you need to be aware of, and Councillor Carey's already said it, there's no compliance issues this year, that's all you need to worry about.
That's
Not the rest.
That's very good. So in that respect, I'll second that. Recommendation, sorry, I've jumped the gun.
We're expecting a rush.
Yeah, I've got one on page 73. Yeah. Are we all in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's lovely. Urgent items, I've got no urgent items. Is that it? Is there? I have to check on the thing. I've not missed a page off me copy, have I?
No, that's it, Chair.
Don't you have to read that out again? Thank you, mate. Oh, I thought that.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, we'll go into it.
Confidential. Read it out for practice, Chair.
We'll have one, we'll make one out.
Oh, thank you very much.
So Matt keeps kicking in at desk.
Why, is he going on holiday?
I'm holding Matt.
Yeah.
In that case, in that case, I've got 16 urgent items.
I'd like to debate, so can I say a few words on each of them?
Only a few.
No, but badly.
Thank you for your attendance and have a nice holiday, Mark.
Your bagpipe.
Well,